Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hold on, let me get some light. Let me invite. Let me. So I will be speaking to. I'll be speaking. Sister Samina and I will be chatting about a really good topic, and I'm waiting for her to come on so I can add her. Request. Give me 1 second, you guys, because this is great. This is going to be a really good topic because I know a lot of you must have teenagers, maybe. No, you don't have to be the parent, right? You could be the aunt, the uncle. You still have a big impact on those kids. So, Samina, where is Samina? Let me message Samina. She's on standby. Okay, let me tag her to this, because when I do... Oh, she's here! She's saying she's here, but... Requests. Podcast. Samina, could it be because... are you on the laptop? I think if you are on the laptop... If you're on the laptop, I don't think it'll allow me to bring you on. Because I see, like, audience is not showing me. Why is it doing that? Oh, laptop. See, when you are on laptop, I don't know if you've done it before, but oh, wait a minute, let me see. Okay, let me try now. Let's try now. It just showed up. Let's see. Bismillah. Oh, there it is.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Do you hear like a extra sound or something? Or
Yeah,
good?
1 second, because let me delete the other one.
Oh, okay,
I was on the laptop, hoping that would be easier.
Let's see.
So I was on the laptop, so obviously it doesn't work like that. I thought it'd be easier, with all the...
Wait, so you were on the laptop and now you're on the phone?
Yeah, that's right. But I didn't see the invite. I was waiting, but I couldn't see the invite. But no worries. Hold on, I'm just gonna put this brightness up.
So I guess that's weird. Maybe in the laptop it doesn't work. But the
no
phone
worries. Does. Right, hold on. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Great.
Is there an echo? Can you hear me nicely, or is there...
I hear you good. Do you hear me good?
Yeah, I do, inshallah.
Okay, if we hear any additional echoes, then we'll take care of it. But so far, I hear you well.
Are you working, Saleh?
Yeah, I'm working today, but this is my lunch hour. So.
Yeah. We have, Jazakallah for fitting me in. We have something called bank holiday in the UK. So it's like the usual last sort of holiday before everyone goes back to school. And, so I think a lot of the UK, London, or sorry, not just London, everyone in the UK, so yeah, they'll be off as well. So hopefully they'll catch it. But
nice. Cool.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you. It's been such a long time. How are you?
It's been a while. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
First day of school was also today for the kids here.
Oh, wow. Did you drop him off, or is he catching the bus himself now?
The bus does come for him, but his mama said she wants to take him to school today. So.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, why not, Nasser? Alhamdulillah. Now, obviously, you've got to balance Nasser and,
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Since I'm working from home 3 days a week, that helps a lot for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But Saleh, you look a bit tired.
I am.
Oh, bless
I'm
you.
a little tired. Tired.
Was it a difficult weekend? Did you get any sleep? That's the question.
I think the weekend was difficult sleep because I stayed up late anyway. I'm like, have a good time
stay up
Yeah,
late.
not your usual morning routine. You've inspired us, mashallah, to take so much action and put morning routines, in. It's even in my coaching programs now. I add that in.
Yeah,
So
that's in place. MashaAllah, that's good.
yeah, it is really powerful, mashallah. So okay. So am I leading this? Is this
Oh yes, all you. You're the expert.
Oh my God. All right. All right, here we go. Salam alaikum, everybody, because this group is huge. Me and Saleh, mashallah, know each other for how many years? Maybe two and a bit, maybe 2.5 years.
Ever since COVID, so yeah.
And mashallah, brother Saleh was my first coach. Okay, and this was the time when coaching I really hated that name. We had a real aversion to that word. It's like, oh, we don't want to be coaches, and now I call myself a coach.
She's a coach herself, everybody.
So Salih completely converted me, alhamdulillah. And because like I said, I guess what we'd call the founding members, isn't it? It was really fun when you set up this group, mashallah. And it was straight off the bat of Visionaire, I think. So that was really nice. And we all came in here and did some really fun challenges together. So I know, and you've been keep carrying them on, so which is really nice.
Yeah,
but during that journey, so my name is Samina, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but during that journey, I really I got to dig deep, on what I wanted and what I wanted to do, the kind of impact that I wanted to make. Who did I want to serve? Because my background was education, as you know. I was the teacher who's been teaching for 24 years, and everyone would say, "You don't look that old."
You don't.
Yeah, that was fun. And apparently I look like one of your aunties, so that was fun as well.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Did you does Nasser think that as well by any chance?
Yes. He's like, oh yeah. From a first glance, yeah.
Oh.
And then I showed you to everybody else. Like, right?
That's gonna be a reel. That's the next reel. Anyway, oh my Lord. So that's the background. So I was a high school teacher, teaching science, running the department. I was even an acting head teacher for a time. But anyway, that was all good. It was enjoyable, but I did feel that I was playing small. I felt like I was playing small now. Alhamdulillah, you helped me sort of figure out what did I want to do. How did I want to reach more people, play on a bigger stage, and just make that impact, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's finding your why. What's your skill set, and what could I do? So alhamdulillah. And I remember we did so much work on limiting beliefs and things like that, so we got to release all of that, and I think that was really helpful for me. And then seeing the impact it had on me, then it was like, wow, I could do this to my students. I could help them.
You've been a coach all along.
Exactly. And in disguise. Just using the boring word, teacher. Oh, hey, Hannah's watching us. Assalamu alaikum, Hannah. Hannah's part of our crew as well, inshallah. So then I took that and I did, like you say, do you remember when we tried to put a positive spin on hypnotherapy? How are we going to make this sound good to everybody? And then look, I've just ended up with, yeah, that's what I do. I'm a hypnotherapist. And alhamdulillah, people seem to understand it a bit better now. I find that I don't get so much pushback from it. They understand and they kind of trust what Samina does, and I guess they see the results,
and especially because it's new in our community too, right? We're not used to that topic or those topics that are where we are introducing them using our Muslim spin to it.
Yeah. I think a lot more people are happy using the word inner work, inner work, understanding sort of, to be honest, it's like the outcomes, you can't get great outcomes. You can't change your behavior and your actions if you're not going inwards first. And I think, you did that with us, probably with knowingly, I think, but I'm not sure whether you meant it that way. But doing that inner work first is really important, because then it changes the way we feel about a situation. So if we can change our thoughts,
Right.
what we think about something, one of the the most sort of common examples that I give to teens is, if you always say, I hate exams, exams are torture, this pile of work that I've got to do is like a mountain crushing me. These are real words that teens have said to me,
Yeah.
right? And
I
I
said
said,
that too.
do you? Oh
Yeah,
my
when I
God.
was a
I'm
bit
sure
too.
all the parents listening will relate to this. They'll be like, oh my God, I say this about work. This commute is torture, this traffic is a nightmare. It's gonna kill me, and all these things. And it's like, if we have those thoughts, and then we obviously feel, I mean, how do you feel? You feel kind of rubbish and anxious and stressed and
Definitely
angry.
anxious.
Yeah, you don't feel good. You feel all the opposite. And then when you feel like that, then that leads to the action, and the action is like, go deep breath, or really hating the fact that you're there and having low energy in your body, low energy in your voice, not showing up as the full, a technicolor Samina, and just being really, inwards and grey. And or for the student, the action is, I just don't want to study. I don't want to do it. And they just stay in bed, and pull the covers over their head. And like I said, the parent, you could relate to this as well, but it happens. I think it's very normal. And if we could just normalize that and not make it like, what's wrong with my kid? Why is my kid in bed and not doing the work? So-and-so's children is doing it. The kid down the neighbor is doing it,
Do you think parents, I guess, get anxious when they get anxious? It's like they're looking at the window to the future. It's like, if my son or daughter don't get up, that means they're gonna fail in the future,
Yeah, absolutely. And we can understand that. We're both parents, right?
Yeah.
I'm a mom of teens. I'm much of my eldest is 21 now, so I can't say they're all teens. But we all have those worries, without a doubt. What are you doing?
No, my phone was slipping, so I had
Yeah,
to hold it.
But your question was, do we get anxious? Yeah, I think sometimes, some of us more than others, sometimes we catastrophize the future, and we just think, oh my God, it's going to be so bad. But yeah, definitely one of my tips is, as parents, as moms, as dads, check in with your stress levels, your anxiety, because sometimes when you bring that conversation to your child, it's actually more about you. It wasn't about the kid, right? It could be something that happened in your day. Oh, look, but was that a mic drop? Tell me why. Why was that something that
Because
was?
usually, as a parent, the finger's like this.
Yeah.
It's never like this.
Yeah. What do they say?
Wow.
One finger back and then three pointing back to you. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. I like that.
Yeah, so, and I think this has been really helpful for me. And please, no, I want to make it really clear. I'm not a parenting coach, right? I'm definitely not a parenting coach. I'm not a parenting expert, but I am a teen expert. And I feel happy to call myself that, because of all the years I've spent with them. I know what they need. I know what they don't need. I know what they really want and why they want it, and all that sort of stuff. So that's why, alhamdulillah, I always seem to find that rapport really easily with them, right? And it's a really unique position, Saleh, because it's like, if you think about a child's point of view, they have like mom, dad, obviously, they've got their agenda, and you've got teachers, you've got masajid teachers, muallims and ustads and all that. You've got tutors who are trying to help you get to a certain grade, and all of those people have an agenda. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? They have to have an agenda. That's their job.
Keep
right?
some sort of order.
That's their job, exactly, without a doubt. But like when I work with the team, my only agenda is them. It's just for them. It's just to give, and sometimes just for them, to give them the words they need to be able to voice what it is that they need to say, or what they want to share, or how they feel. And that's why I love that. I love this role, because it's just for them, and alhamdulillah, it's really powerful, you know, things that they've just sort of pushed down inside of them, and they don't know how to bring it out. Because remember, we want them to speak with love. We want these teens, these young adults even, to be able to communicate with their loved ones, their parents, with love, with respect, not, you know, I hate you and slam the door, and, you know, none of that. I don't know, but we went round circle, didn't we?
I was just telling Nasser, because, you know, he's already 10, and I still come and I would like lay next to him before he goes to bed and everything. And then I would tell him, like, please don't grow up to be a boring teen where he doesn't want to talk to his parents.
Yeah.
Please don't do it. He's like, I won't. Why would I do that?
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
so
I want to
cute.
record you. I want
Yeah,
to record you until you're like 13.
Absolutely. This is
You
digital
committed
age,
to
Saleh.
this.
Record him and then hold him to it. And
I feel
spit
like,
blood over it.
do you feel the same where kids are like expressive all the way to like a certain age, and then they shut down, and then they eventually become expressive down the line?
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, the
why
thing
does
is,
that happen?
yeah.
It's
I mean, with
annoying.
all the jokes and the memes and the TikTok reels aside, right, which are really entertaining, but, you know, they put that to one side. There really is some real changes to the structure of their brain. You know, that organ that we're using to think, to memorize, to analyze. And basically what it is, Saleh, and everybody else watching later, is that, you know, that the reasoning skills, the perception skills, that's in the forefront of the brain, right? And that is just not developed at this age. At the moment, Nasser, up until the age of 10, he's just on that cusp. It's called latency, where things are good. You know, he's hanging out with you, he's happy, etc. But as his brain changes, and obviously the hormone levels change, basically he gets more work done on the amygdala. The amygdala is the emotional part, right? That becomes like this super fast broadband device that can you know, becomes so emotional. It gets so emotional, really big emotions that can knock him offline. And when it knocks him offline, they won't have that sense of reasoning. You know what we have? We want them to come on, be reasonable, use your logic. They can't. They literally can't, you know, physically they can't. And I think that really helps us parents just to understand, you know, it's not about you. You know, it's not about something wrong with your kid. They're just going for that development. Just be patient. You know, make your dua, and, you know, try to parent them with a lot of love right then, because all these emotions are happening and they don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah, they're just like, they're going with the flow, and then
Yeah.
I guess once they see their other peers similar or acting a certain way, and like, okay, I guess that's how I'm supposed to be, and they don't know that, right? They're just like going with the flow, and
Yeah.
I guess how can parents support them through this process?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I just wrote here in that process is definitely, like, remember when I said to you, and it was like a mic drop moment, stay chill.
Yeah.
You know, the more you're calm, because the emotional intensity is true for your child and also all of their friends who they're comparing themselves to. And let's be honest, even the teacher. Because you know, I was that teacher, and it can get stressful with all the demands that senior management and people put on you. It's not easy. You don't have your best self in the classroom all the time. But anyway, but if you can have that calming effect and, you know, be that person that, you know, gives them some space. There are lots of things to do, but definitely be chilled. So if you've had a tough day, there's something that I told some of the mums that I just met up with recently, and I said, you know, if you've had a tough day, you definitely mustn't come into the front door of your home with that tough day. You've got to, either it's the drive home and you're going through it and you're doing your breathing and your affirmation, you're listening to something upbeat that's funny, interesting audio. You know, we love our audio books too. Hannah says we need to chill.
Hannah said I need to chill.
So definitely take some time just to know you're in a better state. And I love the gratitudes. I think it's really important because it does force your brain to keep focusing on what's gone well, what did well today, you know, what are you grateful for. And now if you've got a huge to-do list, then I sometimes, what I've mentioned to the mums beforehand is, why don't you text a few of those things? Like, okay, I'll be home in 20 minutes. Could you just make sure that you did what I asked? You know, because remember, your to-do list isn't at the forefront of their mind, because
Right.
we all know that when we walk back home and we see that mess, it's like bam, like, oh, right? And you're upset, it puts you in a bad mood. It's not great. So if you can communicate that beforehand, give them a little text, it'll just ease it up for them and you. Inshallah. But that's one thing. So your emotions, right? I think also, Saleh, that when, you know, let's say if we use Nasser, or, you know, as an example, and he, you know, has had a bad day at school, maybe the teacher made him move seats and he didn't want to move seats. Maybe he pulled out a surprise test and he was like, what, we didn't get a chance to revise, like, what is this surprise test, whatever, right? Something that made him irritated. And what we need to do as parents is just sort of give them that space and say, okay, do you want me to vent? Do you want to vent? Do you just want to, you know, should I just listen to you? Do you just want to blow off steam? And I'll listen to you. Or do you want my suggestion? Ask permission. And I think sometimes what we do as parents, and I know I've had to retrain myself as well, is that we go in, problem solve. We see the issue, we're like, do this, you know, or I'll ring the teacher and I'll email them, and, you know, you helicopter parent them. There's a lot of reasons why that's not great. Number one, maybe your kid didn't want to do that, you know. Now the teacher's going to give them the side eye at school, like, it's your parent that emailed, and, you know,
That's right.
it didn't work out. Maybe they just wanted to share and they were going to solve it themselves, because by you solving it, you've taken away their power. They're not empowered now. They haven't got a chance to grow some resilience. All right. And the other thing is, which is a bit sad, and I think a lot of us have fallen into this, is that because we jumped in and we didn't ask permission, do you want a solution, or do you just want to vent? If we jump in, then it's like it turned into a lecture. Like,
Yeah,
we have,
they don't like lectures. They hate lectures.
how many teens have said to me, they've memorized our lectures, guys. Parents, please listen. They know your lectures. They can even tell you. They tell me that, I know if I say it to my parent, because I asked them, why didn't you share? They said, well, they're going to lecture me on this, and in this order. They know the order that they're going to say it.
Wow. Oh, look what Hannah said. She said, oh my God, my eldest teen straight out told me she doesn't want me to solve anything. She just wants to tell me something.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And that's so nice. Hannah, I love that, because it's a gift. She's actually said to you what she needs. And you know, like I said, it takes practice. There's loads of times, like my youngest is 15. There's loads of times, she just turned 15. She is, you know, I got it wrong. I got it so wrong. You know, and this is because we're human beings. We're insan, and it's okay. And obviously, in my group, you know, it's very small. Do you remember the one I kicked you out of because we wanted it just to be for mums? But it's a very small. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Nobody gave me a heads up.
No, we had a chat. I told you, you were like, yeah, don't worry, Samina.
I'm kidding. I remember.
But you know, in that group, you know, I've explained, you know, these things work, these things don't work, but you know, we're all human beings. You know, we're gonna get things wrong, because remember, like you told us, Saleh, in one of our first coaching programs, is that we parent the way we were parented, right? You know, we have that blueprint in our subconscious running, and unless we become more reflective, more mindful, you know, of and choosing, okay, what do I want to keep from my culture? What do I want to get rid of? You know, what's good about it, and what isn't so good about it. It's not working, because we live in a different era, right? Yeah, I think
from a culture perspective, if I'm being honest, right? Because I guess that's the way how a lot of us are brought up. Like, you're a kid, you're gonna respect me, you're gonna listen to what I say, I'm your elder. It's almost like you have no voice type
what
of
is
thing.
it? Hear and obey.
Yeah, right. That's just kind of like what a parent comes in with. And I feel like there's also a lot of I don't want to choose the wrong word, but it's almost like it's almost like a right. So it's like how should they balance that and like put that aside for the sake of
like I did this 3-day masterclass in my group, and it was all about bridging the gap of silence, and one of the sort of main aspects to that was about connection. That the thing is, it's true, you can, and Allah's given you that right. He's put you up there, you know, that they have to listen to you and silat rahim and all these things. However, if that's what you want, you just want them to say yes, jump how high, and that you just want them to do yes, no, then fine, you're going to get that kind of zero connection. You want them to completely obey you, then the connection is low. All right, and the conversation, they're not going to share things with you because there's no this back and forth, and it's not healthy. And yeah, they might not complain, but they've kept it inside, and that is one of the main reasons that I am seeing such an increase in anxiety amongst young people, depression, low mood, you know, I'm stressed out, burnt out, all of it's so high. You know why? Because it's like they feel like they can't bring it to their parents. There's no back and forth. You know, what do you think about this, Mom? Oh no, I'm not sure if I like that idea, but hold on, you know, let them question your beliefs. I'm not talking about disrespect, of course not, you know, it doesn't. Yeah.
That's how a parent would feel, right? It's like they gotta like listen to the balance.
But the thing is, you see, it's up to you. We've got a choice. Either I can have a kid that just says yes, no, and obeys my every wish and my command. Sounds great, right? And but they're not growing inside. They've got stress and anxiety or tension or whatever you want to call it, right? They've got those feelings inside and they're not expressing it. It's got to go somewhere. Those feelings are either going to come out as eczema, psoriasis, migraines, maybe their hair falls out. I've seen it all. All right. Sometimes eating disorders, because it's the only way that they can communicate with their parents. Something's wrong with me. I'm not right.
Right.
Okay. And obviously that's an extreme, you know, to have eating disorders. But it happens. You know, it happens. I see it. And so it's up to you. If you want to have more of a healthy conversation, because you know what it is, Saleh, this is what that main thing I want to drum home. If you can connect with your kids, if you can actually connect with them, the oxytocin, you know, that cuddle hormone goes up. And then what happens, their subconscious calms down and it says, yeah, this conversation is a safe conversation. Dad, mom, auntie, uncle, grandparents, whoever it is, they're just looking out for me. Look, they made me feel safe. And then they're open to the guidance that you give them, which is what you want. You really just want to guide them. You want to share your, isn't it?
That's every parent's dream, that the kids have a listening.
Yeah, you just, you know, because you made some mistakes, you figured some stuff out, alhamdulillah. You've learned so much with your coaching journey, yeah, from the guru, Tony Robbins, right, and all that. And you've learned so much, you just want to share some of that, right? You want to share some of that.
Oh my God, yes, 100%. I mean, there is times where it's difficult, right? And I'm like, you have no idea what you're missing, and like I'm trying different ways. But I did realize one thing though. Even sometimes when your child is stubborn about things you're trying to teach them, they're actually listening. It goes in. And the reason I found out that he's actually listening, even though he was being stubborn about it, is because he was talking to some other kid about this thing. And I'm like, you gave me such a hard time about that. And like, you're using this to like...
honestly, so true. And I feel you, honestly. And you know the worst thing, Saleh, the other day, I told you my 15-year-old Hannah. And, you know, every time I say something, it's roll eyes, you know, roll eyes. But I've heard her either speaking to, you know, family, or Assalamualaikum Nadia, either speaking to family and giving them advice, or she gives it back to me. Because like I said, we're human beings, we have low moments. You know, there might be a time like when my mind is just focusing on the negative, and she'd be like, remember, you know, and whatever you focus on, you get more of. And, you know, she's giving... which is so good, right?
Good accountability.
Alhamdulillah, it is good. And it you know what, I think as parents, if we can see us as parents, let's be farmers. Let's just plant seeds. We don't need to be the one who is a dictator. Don't do that. Be the farmer. Just plant a seed. All right, and alhamdulillah, you will see that result sometimes quicker than you thought. Sometimes it feels like, oh my God, it's a famine, right? There's no fruits, you know, kidding. But inshallah, it will. It will happen.
Have you ever seen, I don't know if you have, or maybe you did, have you ever seen a relationship between a teen and their parents so like so opposite direction because of of whatever,
Yeah,
eventually coming back together?
yeah, yeah. I'm thinking of two people.
And
One about a year.
what made them come together? Yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you can talk
yeah,
about it,
yeah.
that'll be good.
One about a year ago. You know, she was quite young, only 13, but we did the work, did, you know, the hypnotherapy and all that, and we found out what was causing the anxiety. You know, what's the root cause? What's going on? And we found it out. And then alhamdulillah, she felt so much better because, you know, when they listen to that, you know, I give them that short audio and there's so much positivity in that, and it becomes, you know, turn your inner critic to your inner coach, and, you know, the self-talk became so positive, and she loved it. And she goes, wow, Samina, I've never heard such positive words before. It's making me feel so good, so
Wow.
you know, alive and empowered, and I love it. And I said, okay. Then we did another check-in, you know, to check how things are going. And she goes, oh, she goes, it's awful. She goes, I feel good, but nothing's changed with my mom. My mom is still so
Wow.
angry.
All the way.
Because my
Wow.
mom is still so angry. She's so rude, right? Sorry, guys. She actually did say that about her mom. She's so rude. She's so angry. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel better in myself, but what's the point if my environment is still so negative, right?
Wow.
And then that, like, I think it was about a year and a half ago. And then alhamdulillah, obviously, because my work is, I have to, it's double the work in a way, because I work with the parent and the team. I
Right.
have to get them to the same page.
To sink
There's no,
in. Yeah.
yeah, otherwise it doesn't work. You don't get the long-lasting change, you know, and especially the mother. I mean, Masha, you are an amazing father. I have worked with fathers before, but, you know, you're quite rare. There's not many fathers who are up for it, who are up for the coaching or the inner work. But, you know, with her, I worked with the mum, got her on the same page, and alhamdulillah, they're a team. This is it now. They're together, you know, and, you know, because and that's the way it should be. And now, alhamdulillah, they're great. You know, she's doing her final exams. I keep in touch. I like to keep in touch with, you know, just to find out how they are and how they're doing. And the other one that I was just thinking of is quite recent. They're like oceans apart, the mother and the teen, you know, really far apart. And I think it's because one of the things that the teenager said to me, she said, Samina, my mum, she just hires people to fix me. You know, she hires me, tutors, coaches, therapists to fix me, but actually I just want some time with her.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah. Now, that was usually, I will, with permission, it's 100% confidential. I don't share what I say, what the team says with me. Otherwise, why would they share?
Right.
It has to be confidential. But then I did ask permission. I said, can I share this with mom? Can I try and get mom to understand what you're feeling? Because how will she know otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes being the third party, then it helps. And then I've said it to the mum, but so far the mum hasn't fully come on board. She still feels like, no, that's your job. you deal with it, you know. That's a bit sad, but
people have to realize it's really not just the coach's job is to bring things to the open, and for them to work, you gotta be on board.
Yeah, and you know, show them a way. Like, we give them a path, don't we?
Yeah, and the team is not a robot where you're fixing a couple of wires and now they'll be perfect. You know, it's
and it does really feel like that. But inshallah, we make dua with every parent and child that I work with. I always make dua that, oh Allah, look, they want change and they're trying to get better. So, you know, let's make this happen. And inshallah it does. And, you know, of course, it's always keeping Allah in the equation, like Sheikh Muhammad always said, you know. And sometimes I remember having difficult thinking, why isn't it working? Why is it working? And then alhamdulillah, you know, I must have seen a reel by Rahimallah, you know, Sheikh Muhammad al-Sharif, and saying, you know, never take Allah out of the equation. And I thought, okay, yes, this is what I need to do. I need to bring this in, and alhamdulillah, we got somewhere. So that's really good. Yeah. So,
I think,
oh God.
you know, another thing for a parent and their teen when it comes to coming closer is not just doing things together, but I feel like going out on let's say trips together or something. That would bring them together as well.
Road trip.
You know, that's a therapy on its own. And the reason I'm bringing that up is we just went to a community Muslim retreat to the mountains, and we all
Lovely.
went
Mm.
and just doing zip line and we did a 5 mile hike
That is awesome. Also fun. I love it.
with Nasser was with me, and it was steep. Oh, and he was like, "Why did I come and did this?" I'm like, I took that as an opportunity. I'm like, just remember how proud you're gonna be once you reach the top.
Mm.
And so once we reached the top, he's like, "I'm so glad I stayed and I listened, and you know, we got to do this together."
Exactly.
But it's like that bonding, like us going through hardship.
If Saleh had been like all grumpy, moany, negative, or why did you wear that outfit? Or why told you to? Why you so this? Why? And he isn't going to listen to you.
There were times where I wanted to do that, but that would, like you said, that would have.
And I'm just using you as that example because obviously we've all done it. You know, like we're human beings. We're going to make these mistakes, but just having that as a positive, like look for those moments. And many times, we know. Technically, we know the science, we know everything, but because it's not part of our behavior pattern, it's not what's normal, we don't do it. But don't give up. Keep trying, and it will become part of you. Like I have to say, I really struggled over this last year with my youngest, and I feel like it's just becoming part of who I am now. You know, having that pause. You know, does she want to vent? Does she want my support? And looking for connection, because when that connection happens, they will share with you because they trust you, but they won't share with you if they don't trust you.
Here's here's a major segment or question that I feel like every parent gets annoyed when they ask. When a parent picks up their child and says, "How's school?" And what's the response? Good. The parent is trying to get more out of that. Have you seen that?
I've got some.
Tell us more.
I
how
do
to
myself. Remember, I pick up my own kid and I get the same response. And some things that I shared, I think I made a couple of reels about. I think you were talking about before. First of all, number one, find their love language. All right, that doesn't quite answer your question, but love language isn't just between husband and wife. It's also between, it's for every relationship, but especially between, parent and child, really strong. So find out, what is their love language? Do they like, obviously they all like to be served, but is it the affirmation? Is it the hug? Is it the quality time? What is it? Find out what they need. And what makes and you got to analyze, you got to trial and error, figure it out, and then when you've done that, do more of it. Now, going back to the conversation, when they come in and you say, "Assalamu alaikum, how's your day?" Fine. And then let them be, you know what? Let it be quiet. Let them enjoy some silence. You know why? Because obviously I've been in the schools 24 years. It is hectic, guys. It's hectic at school. The teacher tells them, move here, move there. They got no choice, they get told off all the time. They didn't bring the right textbook. They didn't answer correctly. Their friend looks at them and gives them the side eye. Hey, I thought you were supposed to be clever. You didn't get that right. They're dealing with it all day long. They don't know who to sit with at lunch. They didn't get picked on the team. So many things, they didn't score or whatever, but they hold it together. They didn't have a tantrum. As soon as they come into your space, dad, mom, auntie, uncle, whoever it is that's picked them up, they're supposed to feel calm. Now they can let loose. Now they can be like, "Oh, it's so annoying. The day was so annoying," and they want to tell you why, or they just want to have some quiet so they can process. That there's a meetup happening later, and they didn't get invited. Oh, what does that mean? I thought I was good friend. They're doing all of that in their heads. Give them a little bit of time just to process it. If they are, if you've given them some time just before you're returning home, so it's like a 5 to 6, 7 minute time, you're about to reach home in about 7 minutes, speak to them then. Why is that important? You can ask them. Either you can talk about, how was the day? Is there anything you'd like to share? Tell them what you've cooked for them. If you want to ask something that they enjoy, like they're into football or makeup, or they're into whatever it is that they like talking about, that you don't like, video gaming, something,
so maybe like instead of saying how's your day, and they like football, Like, hey, did you guys play any football today? And that could be
Yeah,
like a gateway in.
you know their favorite game. Oh yeah, I saw on the news so and so is doing this, or he's moved to. I think I heard a couple of footballers have moved to Saudi. Is that right? I'm not sure. So just something like that. That's easy for them. It's not difficult. They don't. And one of the reasons why, the second reason why they don't want to talk is they fear criticism. They're not sure if they're going to say, if they say the right thing, that you might be like, but why didn't you say this, and why did that, you know, and you're going to have an what's the word, an opinion about it, so they don't feel so safe.
Yeah.
So practicing on them feeling safe, then they're going to share. If whenever they say something, you launch into lecture mode, then no, it's not going to happen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's the lecture modes that
Yeah.
really gets them, I feel like, to
Yeah.
shut down.
And if I just circle back to that 7-minute thing, the whole point of that is that your kid then knows, okay, I'm nearly home. Let me speak to mom or dad or whoever. It's only going to last a couple of minutes. Then I can escape and I'm out of the house. So they know it's not going to go on forever and they're not trapped. Because if they feel trapped, that subconscious is going to be not safe, and you know, there's no bonding, there's no oxytocin, and you don't want to do that. So okay, there was a lot of comments. I don't know, did you get to check them? Were there some?
Nadia said mine stopped when they see a lecture coming.
Right. And were there any questions?
No questions.
All right, cool. Yeah, and you know, that's the thing, is like they know your lectures and they'd rather not sit through them. Like I said, they could rehearse them, repeat them. So, you know, if you can just, and you want to give the wisdom, but if you can focus more on the bonding, on the connecting, work at their love language, talk about shared interests, things that they like, it's going to be well easier on you. And then they start letting things slip because they're getting used to talking to you now, because you're not lecturing, you're not telling them off, you're not interrupting, you're not problem solving. And sometimes some teens push back because they don't recognize it in you, because it's new, it's not familiar. And as we know, you know, the brain loves familiarity. So if we can make this your new you and you keep practicing it, they will accept it eventually. Don't be, you know, be open as much as you can, mums and dads. I know it's not easy, you know, and we all want to do things right, but honestly, the more open you are to any of the suggestions I've given, the better. You know, if you're like a tick box, or I tried, it didn't work, then it's not going to work. Isn't it?
Let me see. Hannah said it's hard when one parent has a different method than the other. Yeah,
that can be hard, but it's the same thing about, you know, focus on what's in your control and not what isn't. And
exactly.
you know, if you're focusing on just yourself, they learn to distinguish, and they're like, oh well, mom seems to understand, and they'll just tend to come to you more, or vice versa, they go to the dad more. You know, of course you don't want to be in competition, but then that way, at least think about it from their point of view. They're going through that brain development, they need to be able to connect. If they don't connect, what does the subconscious say? They're not going to survive, right? You don't survive on the planet unless you connect with your caregivers. So make it easy on them, even if there's just one of you, or if it's just a grandparent that they connect with, or an auntie, let it be, right? And you know, what are you laughing at?
The reason I'm laughing is because I'm like, you know how like the parent, especially with methods and whatnot, the parent and, you know, the child, they would clash. But I'm like, if the kid actually like kind of listens up and be respectful and blah blah, they have no idea how much they can own the parent, and they can get everything they desire just by being smart about that rather than being stubborn. But I think it's more complex than that.
I
right?
do cover that, because I have to admit I was a bit of an expert at this. I'm one of 5 siblings, and I was always the one that could wrap my dad around my finger, right? And I do teach this in my programs. I call it the communication framework. And I teach them how to get what they want, how to have influence, how to, you know, but with silatul rahim, you know, with keeping the ties of kinship, respect. That's really important. You know, no parent's going to respond if you're disrespectful. So, you know, finding a way. What did she say? She said something.
Who?
Hannah.
That's Hannah. She said, I wish I knew that when I was a kid. Yes,
Yeah,
all of us. All of us. I even told Nasser that. I told him once. I said, if you only knew.
And Nasser's such a good kid, honestly. But
He's a good kid, but he does have his stubbornness as well. I don't know.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is okay. You know, look,
Yeah.
we never want them to be, there is no perfection. We know that. Perfection doesn't exist. That's for Allah, right? And, you know, these, like being stubborn or sensitive or overconfident or whatever it is, these are all part of making us human beings and variation and variety.
Right.
And this is what makes us you and unique. So
Mm.
embrace it. Don't try to change it. You know, there'll be something that he can use that for good. Like some people, I know in my own family, some kids are really arrogant, like from my nieces and nephews. And I thought, wow, they're so arrogant. But as they get older, we get to, you know, channel that into a certain way. Now they become leaders. So, you know, there is a way, you know. But I was just going to go through just to make sure that I've given everything. So we talked about judgment, you know, don't put it only look from your own viewpoint, because if you judge, unfortunately the connection goes to zero.
Right.
You know, and
What's,
I think that's
wait, before judgment, is there keywords that a teen would hear that sound like judgment? What is some keywords that a parent might say? You?
I think
You
yeah,
did.
I think with judgment, it's like, you know, try to, when they're speaking, you could ask yourself, I know, like I said, it's not easy, it takes practice, but just pause and think, what's she trying to tell me here? What's he trying to tell me here? Because then you'll actually get their message that they're asking for. All right. Otherwise, their defenses are up, and I told you, if the defenses are up, the bonding is down, and the guidance is not going to happen. So try to you know, with time, but ask yourself, okay, what would they actually try and tell me here now? You know, and if you're confused, you can always ask. You know, you can always say, I'm not sure what you're saying. Could you just rephrase it or say it in a way that I can get it? You know, that I can understand, and then see what happens. Is that all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they're going to distance them, then the other one was staying chill. I think we mentioned that. Work on your own emotions, right? Especially before you come into the door, before you go and see them. Like
I think that's
sometimes
key.
you
That's
might
key.
see me, you know, at my kid's door. I'm about to knock in. I thought, hold on a sec. Are you in a good state of mind? Like, you know, because
Do you do this? Do you do this outside the door?
yeah. I'll try and film myself I'll film myself next time. But I do, I just check in there, hold on a sec. You know, are you in a good space here? Because otherwise the conversation is gonna go down terribly. It's gonna flop. It's not gonna go down well. And so many times I've messed up, right? Because I didn't do that check-in. So that, you know, just check before you go in the door, definitely. Okay, then we talked about criticism. Now, criticism and comparing, those things, so many times people are selectively mute. They actually don't speak in public because they've told themselves from a young age, it's no point speaking because if I speak, I get criticized. If I share, then I only get shouted at or I get told that I'm stupid or dumb. So then they don't bother. They don't bother. And you know, we have these things that we do, like we say, oh, man up, or don't be such a girl. Those kind of things are really, you know, not good. And we need to wean that out of our language. Even though we mean it as a joke, we're going to have to find a better way of joking because those things can really just make them stay quiet. And they're not going to share, no matter what. Right? Okay, so yeah. So the other one, we skipped the lectures. We talked a lot about that. So lectures are like kryptonite. This one, love unconditionally, right? And that means, you know, connecting on their love language. That don't just love them when they get good grades. Don't love them when they've memorized, they've done well in Quran memorization, or they've, you know, done all the cooking, cleaning, or clearing and helping you. You know, let it be that you love them unconditionally. Yeah, you're grateful and say that, but don't let it be that they have to jump through hoops just to get some love from you. And I think we all know people like that, you know, in our family upbringing and whatever. And it's a really difficult place for kids to be in. I mean, you can you know, you can put yourself in their shoes. It's not easy. You know, they just feel like, what is the point? What is the point of even trying? I'm not getting anywhere. So 5 things to actively do. Listen actively, all right, to your kids. Check in with your emotions, like I said. Reframe what you want to say to a more open, inviting questions. Like sometimes you might want to say, how do you feel about it? So if they've just moaned about a surprise test, or, oh, I wasn't on the team with my friend, just ask them, how do you feel about that? You know, Maybe they say, yeah, it's a bit annoying, but never mind. It's only going to last a term, a semester. I'll get over it. You know, let them have that reasoning. Otherwise, they're never practicing that reasoning skill. And they're just going to always, you're thinking and feeling for them. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
don't do that. You know, do you think what happened was fair? Tell me your thoughts. So reframe it. Provide a safe space for your team to share. A safe space means that, you know, they should be able to breathe. You're not going to like, you know, yell, criticize, you know, and remember your words. Words are 7% of communication. You know, the words are not just by what you said, it's about the facial expression, right?
And what you
Body
do.
language,
Yeah,
your tone.
100%.
Yeah, it could be, that's amazing.
Especially if they go through something, say in school, and they're afraid to share with you. It's I feel like it's something you have to build over time, that they can come and tell you this happened, you know.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, there's the, you know, we don't really want to go dark and dreary, but there are darker reasons why you really do want to have, you know, you don't want that in the communication. You really want them to share with you what's going on, so that if they had any concerns, you can validate it, you can help them problem solve, etc., etc. So, and just ask, you know, do you want my advice, or do you just want me to listen? And just reassure them, and then you're doing that amazing parenting where you're just, you know, reassuring them and letting them have their say. And then, like I said, learn their love language, you know, and then use it. And the
Isn't
more
that
you use it,
for the love language? Isn't there a quiz?
yeah, there's loads of
There
stuff
is, right?
online. Yeah, there's lots of stuff like, you know, is it the words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time
Right.
or physical touch? And yeah, I'm sure there's loads of gifts. Maybe we can find one and put it in the after this live, a link,
Yeah.
and then we can go and find that out for ourselves. And remember, each kid's different, and just accepting that and celebrating that. Not, you
Mhm.
know, why can't you be like so and so?
Oh, that is the worst. What's her name? Nadia was just saying that, using words like always, never, or why
Yeah,
aren't you
that's
you
very
just
judgy.
right now?
It's judgy,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, sometimes we judge and I don't realize I'm judging because that's how I was growing up. That's my blueprint. That's the way my subconscious. But it's like my girls, especially, they will sit down and say, "Well, that's a bit judgy when you said that, man. Like, what was that all about?" And then we have a chat. And I'll deny it, of course. I have to defend myself, say, no, I wasn't. But then I sit down and listen to what they've got to say. That, oh, yeah, I can see why you thought that. And then, we've got this back and forth conversation. And you want that because that's healthy for them and it's healthy for you. Because as parents, we want to be respected, but we're not right. We're not 100% right all the time.
Yeah.
News flash. News flash.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So many parents will unfollow me now. Like, what does Samina mean? We're not right.
One other topic that I feel like parents are also struggling with is screen time.
Ooh,
That's a big struggle
I
with
can, yeah.
kids having
I'm
their
just,
own devices.
yeah. I'm just sort of just started this course that I'm doing on screen time with is it Dr. Shafali? I can't remember, but one of the parenting coaches, and just to bring up to date info. So I'll wait on that, but screen time, of course, we just want to do the general. They've got some screen time, and actually it's social. If they're on social media, maybe Inasa's not on that yet, but that's where they're making their plans to meet up, to hang out, to do stuff. So sometimes by not letting them have the social media, they then miss out on the social side, right? If you can allow, and obviously do your safety aspects onto it, make it limited, but if they have some time on that, then they're in touch with their group and they're not going to miss out. And so, not everyone will remember, oh yeah, so and so doesn't have Snapchat, let's text him instead. So it's stuff like that, and I think you'll be moving into that time soon. So just bear in mind, it is social, right? But of course, you don't want it to you want to know what they're looking at. You don't want to what's the word, let them have a free reign. You want quality time, and the more you add to their life, the better. It's not just like taking away the device, just add so much more. Mashallah, you did the hike, you do these going away trips, the masjid activities that you do, amazing. You know, try to just think of it the most amount of variety. And remember, you know, it's that neurochemical. If you're releasing endorphins, you're releasing dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin,
Right.
all those feel good chemicals that all of us need. And you know, like say the drugs that your teens need, right? And these are things that are gonna,
Such a
you
cool
know,
title.
yeah.
That's such a cool title.
And how to get them, how to score, yeah, exactly. But you know, it's good for them. So just have that in your mind sometimes, a checklist. Has my kid had endorphins today? Because that means a walk or exercise.
Ooh,
Have they had dopamine today? Because dopamine obviously is via social likes and all these things, but they can get dopamine in different ways. You know, having a task and then ticking it off. So it doesn't have to be just schoolwork. Maybe they helped out in, you know, the local masjid, or they helped out in the yard and they were sweeping and clearing. It could be anything. It gives you a dopamine hit, you know, decluttering their room.
and I'm guessing appreciation is also part of that formula too, right?
Definitely. I mean, that's going to give you your oxytocin, isn't it? It's that bonding hormone. So, you know, all these things are good. I know it's a lot to take on. I really hope that everyone, you know, gets a chance to replay it
And practice.
and go through it. That'd be really good, inshallah. But yeah, I think, mashallah, we've been talking for an hour.
Has it?
Yeah.
No way. Whoa, that's mashallah. It's such an interesting topic.
I don't know if you've even had lunch. You've got to go back to work.
I mean, I'm home, so it's fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Inshallah. But Jazakallah, Saleh. I really appreciate it. Inshallah.
Great, no.
I wanted to come on for such a long time, and yeah, it is an interesting topic. Maybe we could do another one. We'll do a part 2 where we do more on the devices.
I mean, definitely, it's never enough when it comes to trying different methods with the kids. But I really think at the end of the day, to your point, the more you do with them, the more you kind of bring them into experiences, the bigger the impact that you'll have with the kid. You know, and start early, right? You don't wait till they're a teen. Start early, so that way that kind of becomes the norm as well.
Definitely, and make it a safe thing. Like it's really sad, Saleh. It's probably because of the field that I'm in. I deal with all the families that are, it's not working. It's dysfunctional, right? And you know, when parents have taken their kids out and they're socializing, they do a lot of community work, they're going for brunch. But the problem is, when they take the kids out and they're socializing with people, it's all about what you're not dressed the right way, you're not speaking the right way, you're not loud, you're not social, you're not doing medicine like the others are doing. You know, there's so much don't, and honestly, the kid just doesn't want to leave the room. Then this is like an 18-year-old that I was dealing with. She didn't want to. She's like, I don't want to go to these gatherings. What's the point? My mum and dad just criticize me more. So it's not just about taking them out and socializing. You've got to make it a safe environment.
Right.
You know? Be there for your kid. Don't let it be that auntie so and so has a way of bringing your kid down. You know, don't do that. Don't allow it. Yeah.
These little things, they work together and inshallah create something great. And it takes time, but it's a journey, right?
It's a journey, and I really don't want to bring everyone down. Please be hopeful, right? None of us are born experts. I just really wanted to share what teens are thinking and saying, so that you get to hear that and see that, and obviously share with you some things that work. And inshallah, you know, it is a progress, it is journey, but please don't. There's hope. I want that to be the message, and there's a message of hope that inshallah, you know, we keep making dua. Let's be open to the advice. I think that's important as well. You know, don't just shut it down thinking, nah. You know, just give it a go, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair for coming on, and I'm pretty sure we totally should do a part 2. Maybe zooming into particular cases.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? I love it. It's so exciting. And I spent a whole hour talking about the work I do, so I love that. I really appreciate it. I really wanted to ask you about your coaching and what you're doing, because you've been doing so much, mashallah, with Tony Robbins. You were as a trainer, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I got into this study, the Stanford study.
Yeah.
And basically from the Stanford study, we thought it was just gonna be one event, and that event cost
Yeah.
$5,000
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
And so we went to that, and he kept the guy who's head of the research kept an open line with Tony Robbins, and they gave us a ongoing coaching where Tony comes up and speaks to everybody once a month, and that costs like $1,000. So we do that.
It's amazing.
And then,
oh my
and
God.
then yeah, and then they brought other events like Leadership Academy.
Yeah.
That's also like $3,000. And then UPW, that's like $600 or something like that.
You're still doing everything.
So he would negotiate with Tony and says, hey, this could be added to the study. And then, like, he would like bring us on to these events. And if I was paying for these, like I would have been already up to like $30,000. So I'm so grateful just learning the tools.
Absolutely.
That I'm using on myself. And actually some people, when I did this segment called Leadership Academy, when I opened it to just 5 people, I'm like, I want to see these methods. And so I coached a couple of people from this group.
Oh,
a couple of people outside.
I think Shayma told me.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke to her just before she moved to the UK.
Yeah,
and that was timely. That was pretty good. I'm so glad. It's crazy that was meant to happen for her, because eventually she met up with you, and inshallah she'll get to meet other visionary people in the UK.
Shayma, if you're listening, we need to catch up again, yeah? we'll do that.
But yeah, the growth has been pretty good. But in the side, I haven't like really went too public with this, but you know how I like videos and everything? So I started doing these video ads for companies. And so I do that in the side. Just started like a few months ago. And there's a whole market out there that anybody can do. Anybody can do this. It's like,
no, but you gotta have a passion for it, and you love it. And
I mean, yes, absolutely, right? Otherwise, it's gonna be like a chore or whatever. But it's been great. I'm really considering of doing a class on it, just in case if people want to like do it. It's not hard at all.
You're always thinking of giving, subhanallah. May Allah reward you, inshallah. But I can't wait until you come up with your coaching program. I'm looking forward to that.
Inshallah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Oh, alhamdulillah. But anyway, Jazakallah khairan. If it's okay, I do have ways to work with me. If I just give that, I do have like obviously one-to-one. I do have group program, which is more affordable, and then like a course, like a do-it-yourself course, like you can do it on your own. Because a lot of parents said that their teen would never come. They don't want to speak. They've got that sort of social anxiety. They don't want to talk to anyone, and then having it pre-recorded is just easier for them to go through it at their own pace. And then I do, I've got this special deal where if they buy it, then, I'll do a free coaching call with them, because I want to obviously help them make sense of it and see what they think. But yeah, so those are the 3 ways.
If you have a link to that, that'll be pretty cool to also put in the comments, so people can. Of course they can message you directly, but if they can also look at our website.
Why not?
Some
Oh, I appreciate that. Jazakallah khairan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for Nadia, and I think it was Nadia and Hannah and Meher. Oh, mashallah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? We've got to do more of these, Saleh. It's so nice getting the old gang back.
I think so. I think it'll be cool to do more interviews and to see what people are up to, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Well, maybe you just started the cycle, or renewed the cycle.
Exactly. Well, inshallah we'll meet. We're gonna hopefully meet up soon as well. So all right. Take care, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. Take care.
Walaikum salam.